to hear all about Super Bowl 60 and what happened last night between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. But let's roll right along, because speaking of the Patriots, it was a rough Super Bowl for Drake Maye last night, and that offense for the Patriots. The MVP runner-up finished with 2 interceptions, 6 sacks, and Maye and the Patriots offense failed to put points on the board until early in the fourth quarter in a 29-13 loss. Here's Maye on losing the Super Bowl and what he could have done better.
Yeah, it's hurt. No doubt. It definitely hurts. It's been a long ride. They played better than us tonight. There's numerous plays in the first half where I feel like I could have made a better throw or make a better decision. And really just comes down to who makes the plays and who doesn't. And they made plays tonight.
Yeah, they made a lot of plays. Dan Orlovsky now joins us on the set here in Disneyland. Right, why are we the only ones with ears on?
I don't know, because we love and we have a magical feeling this morning, Shay.
Me and you.
And it's our personality, our energy, our attitude.
Dan doesn't need ears. He doesn't need fake ears. He has them on his own.
There we go.
You are not going to deter me. I'm your worst enemy today.
Why?
Because the guy that you have hated on the most in the last 2 years is a champion.
Stop.
All right, let's listen. Let's use the ears. Let's use the ears and listen to the question here. Which quarterback stock changed more last night in the Super Bowl? Sam Darnold or Drake Maye?
Oh, Sam Darnold, not even close. It's the greatest redemption story ever in the history of the NFL for a quarterback. This is a guy that's been mocked over the last 4 or 5 seasons and called a bum, a bust, a disappointment. He's 31-7 over his last 2 years. He probably played with the most amnesia we've ever seen from a quarterback, and it's the first time we've seen a quarterback win a Super Bowl and not turn the ball over since 2009, and that was Drew Brees. Sam Darnold, everyone's going to point to some statistical thing of last night. I thought it was really good. I thought he made very good decisions. It had some outstanding ball placement throws. In person, because we were there, this defense for New England played outstanding for the better part of 3 quarters. They just couldn't hang on long enough. Sam Darnold, no questions asked.
You okay?
I mean, he wants. This is what drives me crazy about Dan. He wants a cookie. It's like, yo. I mean, listen. We look at Sam Darnold, right? And we said coming into the Super Bowl, practically everybody had Seattle winning. We knew they were the superior team across the board. We knew their defense was elite. We knew that New England's offense was suspect, averaging 18 points per game in the postseason. They went up against the Chargers, the Texans, the Broncos, and 2 offensive linemen out for the Chargers. You got a wide receiver, Nico Collins, out for Houston, and Dalton Schultz getting hurt in the second quarter. You had a backup quarterback in the AFC Championship game, and a blizzard came. So we said when they go up against New England, when they go up against Seattle, rather, they're going to run into a different team. They're going to lose this game, and that's what happened. Sam Darnold didn't have a great football game. 5.3 yards per pass attempt, fewest in Super Bowl history, no turnovers, deserves a lot of credit. I'm not here to throw any shade on him, but the point that I'm making to you is this. The question about him was about against the Rams, because that was his kryptonite. He answered it in the NFC Championship game. We didn't look at Sam Darnold and say the brother couldn't play. He went 14-2 last year. What we said was this. This is what, all right, let me not say we. Let me say me. Yes. What I said was this. You go 14-2 last year. Why are you celebrating like you won something when you got to go? Hold on. I'm answering the question. Why are you celebrating when you got a game against Detroit with the division crown on the line and acting like you fainted, throwing champagne on them? You got a division title to win, which you didn't do. You went to the playoffs against the Rams. You got sacked 9 times. You scored 9 points. I didn't sit up there and say they should have got rid of him in Minnesota. Nobody said that they should have handed the reins to J.J. McCarthy. What we said was, you got to win. You got to show up in that big game, and the kryptonite was against the Rams.
What quarterback proved more?
No. I understand. I'm just answering you. I know it's Darnold. Okay, but what I'm saying to you is I'm answering your stuff, because he tweeted that I'm leaving something out, y'all. He texted me last night.
What'd I say?
Right there.
What'd I say?
It's going to be a bad day for you.
Yeah.
Well, I think, though, but
Stop it.
Isn't this entire thing about perspective, though? Sam Darnold's stock or his perception didn't change at all last night. His perception-altering game was the NFC Championship.
Thank you.
When you're playing against Matthew Stafford, the MVP, and you can go play for play with him, Clint Kubiak puts the football in your hand. To me, that was when Sam Darnold proved all he had to prove. Sam Darnold didn't play well last night. Sam Darnold didn't have his best stuff. We are talking about Christian Gonzalez, and the way we're talking about him is because he left the ball to Rashid Shaheed high and short. Jackson Smith and Jigba has a touchdown in the Super Bowl if he's not late and behind. So Sam Darnold wasn't the reason that this team won. What Sam Darnold showed us is whatever you need him to do, he can do those things. To me, Drake Maye's stock changed the most, especially in recent weeks. Drake Maye isn't the guy that finished second in MVP voting. When you look at the Texans game and you think about some of those throws he made, he needed to do that in the AFC Championship. We needed to see that in the Super Bowl. We needed to see him elevate a team in the most important moments. And so headed into next year, everyone's going to believe in Sam Darnold the same way, in my opinion, I already believed in him after the NFC Championship. There are going to be questions about the way Drake Maye and this offense responds, in my opinion. Sam Darnold's redemption story is already written.
Yeah, I'll second that, because even though, you look at a situation, but to answer the question, I will say Sam Darnold, because for the rest of his life, he will have the prefix before his name to be Super Bowl winning quarterback, Sam Darnold. I get it. But going into this game, the biggest question was, does Sam Darnold have the decorum, the coof, the wherewithal, the absolute gall to keep the same type of gameplay up that he has been playing all playoffs, protecting the football? How would he be able to attack this New England Patriots defense? And on the opposite side of the football, where you have Drake Maye, we were wondering, will a young quarterback be able to still exceed expectation and to take over a game to get his team, into that stratosphere that the likes of Tom Brady did as well, too?
This is, first of all, Sam played good. So Justin Herbert's a superstar quarterback. He did what Herbert couldn't do against this defense. C.J. Stroud's one of the best young quarterbacks in football. He did what C.J. Stroud couldn't do against that New England defense. Statistically doesn't show the story. Sam did the one thing he had to do, not give the ball away. That if he doesn't give the ball away, and he led the NFL in turnovers this season. That's the thing that everybody has said Sam was going to do, is he'll give the ball away. We talked about it last week, that is the glass slipper going to fall out? Is the magical story going to be over? And Stephen A., I love you. There's no way that a part of you did not go into that game yesterday thinking, I don't really trust Sam Darnold. I don't really trust Sam Darnold in the biggest moments.
Wait. The man didn't commit a turnover throughout the entire playoffs. He was going up against the New England Patriots team whose defense that I knew was real, but their offense I knew would struggle. That's why I didn't pick New England to win this game.
But everybody, and I was thinking Sam could revert back.
I wasn't thinking about him at all, because to me it was about him against L.A. It wasn't about the Patriots. And by the way, this camera, see, I don't have to argue with you, just proof. Like, for example, coming into the Super Bowl, who was the name that I mentioned? I said, everybody, we talk about who's the sleeper, who's the guy you got to watch out for that can make noise. I said Kenneth Walker. That's exactly what I said. It's on tape. It's okay. I wasn't thinking about no damn Sam Darnold. I was thinking about who he's going to handle the ball off, because I expected New England's defense to show up, which they did, and I expected their offense not to show up, which actually happened.
But it's so much more like, last night's not about Drake Maye. No quarterback was going to play good for New England last night.
I didn't say it was about Drake Maye. I'm saying it's not as much about Sam Darnold as you're trying to make it out to be.
Sam Darnold didn't have his Jalen Hurts game in the Super Bowl.
Agree.
He had it last game.
In the NFC title game.
NFC title game was the game where we said, okay, they can win, and they are going to win because of Sam Darnold. That was not last night. Last night, I agree with you. He did what he needed to do to win the game. Number one was protect the ball.
Yep.
Number two was make enough plays to make it difficult on the New England Patriots where they had to score points. That was his job last night. He did his job. But to me, Sam Darnold's perception didn't change as much last night as Drake Maye's did.
How with the Drake Maye? Like, how?
Because for Drake Maye now, it's going to be going forward, can Josh McDaniels find a way to protect you? Can you go and win the big game and play well against the top-notch defenses? Because you're at this point, because of how Justin Herbert was stifled, because C.J. Stroud threw 4 interceptions in the first half, because you got an opportunity to play Jarrett Stidham. This wasn't a run in the playoffs that said, now Drake Maye is in the tier. This wasn't Joe Burrow. This wasn't Patrick Mahomes, right? It wasn't one of those runs where we now say, you're that guy. We believe in you because of this. Now, is Drake Maye a good young player? Yes. He's going to have that year that Jaden Daniels didn't have after his rookie season.
The no turnovers thing, I feel like, is what changes everyone's perspective now that we look back at the Super Bowl and what he did in this playoff run. But the big game was definitely the NFC Championship.
It was-
Like the
question.
Rams were the monkey he had to get off his back, and he did it.
I believe in Sam.
Shay, don't waste time talking but so much longer to Dan Orlovsky, D.O. He knows all of this. It's just that when it comes to the quarterbacks, he's soft. He's soft about it. That's all it is. He loves himself some Sam Darnold, so he's trying to make a. He knows everything. He knows everything.
You know what it's
that
like?
RC just said.
You know what he's doing?
Right.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to have to give him this. For about 355 days, all you did was dog Sam Darnold.
Come out.
And so, and what he's saying,
you're not going to do that.
And what he's saying is,
you're not going to do that.
no, what he's saying is, no, what he's saying is, you can't all of a sudden, like, sometimes the praise got to be as loud as the boos and the criticism.
Okay. Well, and if I just sat up there and said, y'all got on me about that too, so that's okay. The point that I'm making is this. Hold on. What I said about Sam Darnold, all year long, I got to see it. And then when the NFC Championship game showed up, I said, damn, he showed me. Because I didn't care about anything else. Because he went 14-2 last year. I knew he was going to have a successful season with that defense in Seattle. I said, but wait, let's see what happens when he goes up against those boys. San Francisco was depleted. That didn't count with me. I needed to see him against his kryptonite, the Los Angeles Rams. And I picked the Rams to win that game. I thought that Sam Darnold would fold against Matthew Stafford when it really, really counted, and he didn't. Which is why I had to stand down 2 weeks ago on a Monday and
say what? What did you say?
And I had to give it to him.
But what did you say? What did you say?
I had to stand down. I did say I was wrong. I did say I was wrong. I said I was wrong about Sam Darnold. They ain't got nothing to do with yesterday. They ain't got nothing to do with yesterday. I picked him yesterday. That's all I'm trying to say.
All right, we've defended it now. Okay, maybe we can move on. We'll talk a little bit more.
You only got 50 more minutes.
That's right, to debate it.
If the man hadn't stunk up the joint and pressurized situation,
there you go.
I would have never been in a position to doubt him. The doubts were valid.
The doubt was not wrong.
You sound like the Vikings, though, because they used two